sippers. Hey, my precious tea sippers. What we sipping on today? What it do? What it do? I'm here for you. Ooh, yes indeed, Hunter. Yes. Hey, Deborah. Thank you for hanging in there, waiting on Auntie Fee. You know, I don't always try to be late, but baby, it just seems to happen that way. Come on in, come on in. What did you good people? Hey, come on in the house. Come on in the house. I hope y'all had a beautiful day today. I tried to come in earlier in the day, but I just could not find the time. Real life be life, and I mean life. And hey, Brian. Hey, I got a new picture I took the other day. Them new pictures when I was out and about. Y'all come on in. Please come in, hit the like button. I gotta chime in on Candace Owens. I need to get caught up with her. Well, not caught up this week. It's been a minute. Let me spill it. Yes, indeed, Hunter. Yes, indeed. Hey, Crystal. I can't see y'all on the phone, but I'm trying to get where I need to be. I feel like so much is going on. Please heal the land. I need to get to that scripture. If my people will call by my name, that one. Let me find out. We need a healing so that he can heal the land. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm saying? Y'all understand? Second Chronicles. If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek his face. Yeah, we need that. We need to seek his face. You know what I mean? Second Chronicles. So let me put this in. If my people, I think that's what God is waiting on. I think that's what he's waiting on with Trump and the Epstein files and the whole fraudulent political cabinet, the wars, unnecessary, the trying to rewrite or mimic the Bible, you know, that they have in production on this stage, you know, like this halogen or whatever that is, where you're going to be able to see him like how it says in the Bible, everybody will be able to see him at once. Do y'all know that they got that plan? Them fake Jewish people, them Zionists, them Bibi Netanyahu, them folk, they got that already lined up to have us thinking that is the coming of Christ. Yeah, they want to whitewash it and manipulate and trick all the way to they are planning a fake ending. What? Now, what they not gonna be able to fake? Yeah, I know y'all think Auntie B, you tripping. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Why you think Israel's name is Israel? They trying to find places in Israel as if we don't forgot that Israel was a person. And all of what they trying to push was before Christ. But anyway, it says, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face, his face, and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear, I will hear from heaven, and I will forgive their sins and heal their land. Yeah, that's that new and improved. Let me go to the King James Version. I don't necessarily. When I learned the, majority of the scriptures and stuff, I know it wasn't no new and improved. I learned them on a King James Version, if you know what I mean. If that means anything to you, I need King James Version. I know it's the same thing. Yeah. If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sins and heal their land. Sounds the same. That ain't how I remember it. But anyway, that's what we need. We need for God to heal the land. We need a healing. So when I say that, I'm asking for God to heal the land, turn it around, us to seek his face, humble ourselves, pray, seek his face, and then turn from our wicked ways. There's a lot of wickedness going on, y'all. If I could say so myself, I'm just appalled with all the things that I am seeing and coming forth. It's just unbelievable. And to say it's scripture, some of this stuff is a 42 or 52 fake out. These Zionists are playing. The whole goal is to turn believers into non-believers. Bibi Netanyahu said it himself. That's his mission. So let me, I just wanted to put that prayer on out there because it is a lot going on. Yeah, what's going on? Hey, what's going on? Yeah, we need to know what's going on. This is too much going on. Way too much. But I'm coming back later from Carmelo Anthony. It's blowing my mind, y'all. I ain't gonna even lie to you, it's blowing my mind that some of these people out here kind of mad on the code. If I can say on the code, if I can say it like that, they kind of mad on the code. That he got a new appeal team. Powerhouse. A winning team. Oh Lord. What is going on? It's like they finna break him out. They finna find a way for real to get him out. They finna catch us in all our lies. Where they lying like that, they was lying like that. There was cover-ups, shake-ups, and shake-downs. Lies. Yeah. Lies. Scholarships. In home. Paying house notes. Questioning them kids. Kinda. Is that? Give me this testimony I need. Or I will strip you of everything and I will tell on YouTube. Eddie ass in trouble, whether he know it or not. Yeah, they kind of mad on the cool, but I'm going to come back to that. I'm coming back to that later. Auntie Fee, you talking? Yeah, I just, I'm kind of excited about it. I ain't gonna even lie. Yeah, tell the truth, shame the devil. You turned on your partner. You are kiki ha ha. Can we still be friends type shit? And in the meantime and in between time, you Xing him out and setting him up. What type of fracker bull crap is that? Yeah, you lying in his face. I know all he could do was put his head down. Like, God dang. I wonder what his girlfriend feel like. I wonder if she's still cool with Eddie the monster, the backstabber, the back door. Yeah. They smile in your face all the time. They want to take your place. Yeah. Folk used to, I got my eye on you, Eddie. You better not be the one that threw that in the trash. They brought up another kid's name, Casey, Cassidy, something. Casey. Something. I hope every last one of y'all who got a scholarship for lying, for saving Frisco, do it for Frisco, do it for the school. Yeah. Yeah, because not all y'all in trouble. Especially whoever threw something in the trash and then went back in digging for dumpster digging and dumpster diving for probably a knife. Yeah. And then put it in your pocket. Turned around to see who was looking, then ran like a bear. See, I had to spit that out. Yeah. All this fracker-knacker. And then the nerve. Just the nerve, the gall, and all the audacity of Jeff Metcalf. You came out lying like you was remorseful, like I was sorry. Can't we just be friends? You want to switch everything around. This is how these kids know how to lie, cheat, steal, and bully they parents. Hey, Monty. Hey, Janet. Yeah. Lying. And then said they never apologized. Did you apologize for your son starting it? No. I mean, we don't want to talk about that, do we? We don't want to talk about that on TV. What are we doing? I mean, when it's all said and done, my son died. Yeah, your son started it. Somebody tried to come in my comment section, and I had to remind them, y'all say victim, but I don't feel like sugarcoating nothing for nobody. I'm just sorry. He's not a victim. The aggressor and the shit starter cannot be a victim. He's a casualty of the shit he started. Excuse my French. He is a casualty of what he started. I don't want to sound like I don't have no empathy for him, but I'm not going to call him a victim. He started it. He picked on a victim, and the victim struck back. Not to unalive, but to get your big ass up off me. You hovering over me. You invading my space. You trying to intimidate me, and now I'm scared. Because I don't know, y'all these linebackers done stood up over me. Oh, Auntie Fee, this not the Carmelo Anthony lie. Nah, okay. I'm just saying, don't come in playing the victim card. Yes, he lost his life, and we are sorry that he chose to bully somebody, hover over them, grab the bag that he did not have, and put a bag with a weapon in it that poked him. That's the truth. But they don't want the truth. They don't want the truth. They want to act like, oh, He went in his bag. He didn't have the bag in his hand until the bully tried to bully him and put it in his hand. Why are they not talking about that? So when I heard them trying to act like, he has already been found guilty, so good luck. Okay, well, good luck to you too. Let the best luck win. I can't wait to get on her tonight after this. So let me get on so I can get on these people. Jeff want to come out and have something to say. You didn't have nothing to say to the news people until you found out that they had a new team. They have rose to the occasion. Now you talking about, well, I tried to go in and do peace and Dominique and they put me out. Yeah, you wasn't invited. It was invitation only. It was invitation only. So you was bullying. You was forcing yourself. So you don't want to say, I can't, because I don't give a shit. If it was invite only, I wanted to come and show my face for my kids. I mean, but you couldn't even say that. Now you got another sad love song. You know, I'm missing my son like crazy. You know what I'm saying? On TV. Oh, I wasn't supposed to say that. It's just another sad love song. I'm missing my son like crazy. He should have kept his hands to himself. I'm not going to stop saying it. I'm not going to make excuses for him. It's unfortunate that he lost his life. I wish that he would have kept his hands to himself. I wish that his little brother, Hunter, his other twin, wouldn't have started the shit. So much so that his brother had to feel like he had to protect his brother. And as the football boys say, take one for the team. That's the sad part about it. Yeah, get my likes up. What we doing? I have 104 people in here, only 15 likes. What we doing? Double tap the face of your screen, hit those 3 dots at the top right, and get the likes up. So I'm hearing that Candace, she been MIA, and then she came back, and when she came back, they had a story that somebody had unalived her. You remember when she had that threat, like somebody was going to hit her with a beaming red light 5 minutes in, Me, I was worried about it, and I'm like, ooh, only talk for 5-minute increments. Then go out and come back in, because, they were talking about a beamer and red light, stoplight, trying to scare her and all type of stuff. So when she came back from out of town, because she been traveling, summer vacation, shout out to her. Shout out to her. She had a whole hoax that somebody had taken her out. So we need to get caught up. Y'all ready to get caught up? I don't know why I can't see at the bottom. It kicked me out. I'm back. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? I need to get a 1 or something. Let me switch it on the other TV so I can know that y'all can hear me. Can y'all give me a 1 or a thumbs up or hit the like button or something? Let's go, Candace.
Guys, happy Monday. I hope all of the
So I
fathers
got,
out there had an amazing
hold on,
Father's
I
Day
got Monday and Tuesday. Ooh, let's go.
weekend. All the dads that are actually good fathers, I should say. If you're a bum, you don't count. You have to do better. Anyway, I would like to formally announce at the top of the show that you guys were correct. I am with child. I'm expecting another
Oh,
child. A lot of you guys had sussed that out genuinely within the first 4 weeks of my pregnancy. I actually found out, I am not kidding, that I was pregnant from you guys. You guys were in the comments. You were asking questions. You were like, Candace has a very unique attitude that she's known to have when she's pregnant with a boy. It's kind of sus. I think she's pregnant. Yes, you were correct. I learned from you. And then I found out that that is indeed the reason, as it always is, that I grow sort of increasingly violent when I am, for something about growing a boy inside of you that makes you want to aggress. That's how I
congratulations.
feel. I don't understand it, but I want to physically fight people. The more pregnant I become, I want to physically fight people. There's nothing I can do about it. It's a condition. And yeah, a lot that we're going to unpack today, but I wanted to get that done at the top of the show. Let you guys know that you are really annoying for knowing first. I shouldn't be finding this out from the internet. Who do you guys think you are? Clearly, you know me better than I know myself. Anyway, welcome back to Candace.
That's what's
Okay,
up.
so everyone thinks baked on grease needs strong chemicals
Congratulations
to get
to
it off,
her.
but that's a lie. All right, not doing anything special.
I'm
Okay, I
her
also want
baby
to
daddy.
mention here that I was pregnant, truly a victim, when my foot was broken and Cabot Phillips accosted me on the toddler playground. Never forget what Cabot Phillips did to me in my early pregnancy with a broken foot.
He
The
gonna come out
costume.
looking like you.
I'll never let it
Your
go,
baby gonna
Cabot.
come
I'll
out
never
looking
let
like
it go.
Cabot.
Anyway, over this weekend, something else happened. I was actually on Friday recording at Sean Ryan's studio, his podcast studio, and he lives down the road from me. Was having a good time. Came out and realized, because he does the long format podcast, I think like 4 hours, that there was a death hoax. And I had all of these messages from people, my mom, my dad, my aunt, everyone that I know asking me to post a sign of life because apparently there was this combo that some
Hey, me.
girl posted and then deleted that I passed away. And then on top of that, there was some like obituary website that said that I was going to die on Sunday. So listed my date of death as Sunday, which is totally crazy. I don't know. I think people do these things to get into your head psychologically. I did not die this weekend. People were then emailing me saying, don't go out on Sunday because this pre-obituary exists. I did not slow down my weekend in any way at all. I just don't live in that, I guess, that vein of fear
Right.
because it's just unhealthy. And every day we get emails of people asking me, don't go, don't travel, don't do this. You can't, I can't live in a cage. Bird can't fly in a cage. So I did a lot of things this weekend, but dying was not one of them. In fact, it's the opposite. I'm growing life. So be happy, smile. It's great. I did indeed, however, sit down with Sean Ryan for a very long interview, which will be dropping soon and is sure to make a lot of heads explode because we covered everything. I mean, from my background to my beliefs to Charlie's assassination, obviously, to his cast. I will say, however, that he seemed a little bit surprised to learn that his one great. I did indeed, however, sit down with Sean Ryan for a very long interview, which will be dropping soon and is sure to make a lot of heads explode because we covered everything. I mean, from my background to my beliefs to Charlie's assassination, obviously, to his widow. Nothing was off limits because I never give people any limits when they interview me. I'm an open book. That's what I'm doing here on the podcast. I will say, however, that he seemed a little bit surprised to learn that his one-time guest, Brian Harpole, is suing me and extraordinarily trying to spin this tale in the courts that the only reason he was forced to
Why would he be suing her? You know, people only gonna try to sue because they don't want the truth to come out. Why would they be trying to sue Candace? Yeah, I mean, she's not the only person that think that he was involved. You know what I mean? It's just bizarre to me.
thing was off limits because I never give people any limits when they interview me. I'm an open book. That's what I'm doing here on the podcast. I will say, however, that he seemed a little bit surprised to learn that his one-time guest, Brian Harpole, is suing me and extraordinarily trying to spin this tale in the courts that the only reason he was forced to go on the Sean Ryan show, thereby making him a limited public figure, was because of me and my harassment, despite the fact that I never uttered his name before he went on the Sean Ryan show and had that disaster of an interview. So it'll be interesting to see if Sean Ryan ends up in this lawsuit because they have a totally different memory of how he ended up on that show. Interesting. Liars lie all the time and get caught. But something else very curious happened, okay? I gotta tell you this, it's always the production team that you want to talk to when you do these sorts of things. They know things. They have secrets. Never underestimate the producer, the cameraman, the control room, the lighting director. They see and they hear everything. They're basically intel everywhere.
You got your mug?
And I always make small chat with that. You know, just like, hey, where are you from? I just like to know who everybody is. And he had a really fantastic team, by the way. Like, really just had it together. But they did tell me something that was frankly disturbing. Okay, so Sean Ryan has this really amazing, like his studio, you don't get the full effect of it on his show. It's basically like a museum. And so people want to contribute to the museum. He's got all sorts of artifacts. I can't even begin to describe it because I feel like I wouldn't do it any justice, of people who have, who have lived through certain things or survived things, various missions, a lot of military stuff. And they get it over to him and he puts it up in the museum. Well, someone on the team, on Sean Ryan's team, told me that after seeing this museum, Brian Harpole wanted to contribute to it. And he offered Sean Ryan Charlie Kirk's blood on his bag as a gift. So the crossbody purse looking thing. Like I said, this is like, it wasn't a man purse. It was his, like, I don't know, one of the things he sued me over because I described it accurately. The crossbody bag. And then he went to Charlie after Charlie got hit. He offered that bag with the blood still on it to Sean Ryan. And it was declined for obvious reasons, because it's weird to offer that to somebody as a gift. Who would want that? Why would you offer that? It's very strange. I need to share that. I need to get that off my chest. Second thing that they said, which was kind of just in passing that I thought was strange, was that sometime after Brian Harpole's interview, they almost interviewed Eric Kirk. They were in communication, rather. They were in discussion, conversation to potentially interview Erika Kirk. Not weird. She did do a bunch of interviews. Obviously, she was promoting Charlie's book. What I thought was odd was that they were in communication to book that.
Keep your eye on the ball and your other eye on this burger. Walk in.
187 people in, only 21 likes. Get the likes up.
The guy who announced on camera that range was that sometime after Brian Harpole's interview, they almost interviewed Eric Kirk. They were in communication, rather. They were in discussion, conversation to potentially interview Erika Kirk. Not weird. She did do a bunch of interviews. Obviously, she was promoting Charlie's book. What I thought was odd was that they were in communication to book that with Terrell Farnsworth. The guy who announced on camera that Charlie was dead, the guy who took down the camera, the guy who runs the audiovisual company. I'm like, why would he be doing any bookings for...
He was the first person who announced that Charlie was dead. Unalived, I'm sorry. That guy. Because he was right there. I mean, you could see the black truck, the black van. And he said that he was unalived.
To book that with Terrell Farnsworth.
Him.
The guy who announced on camera that Charlie was dead.
Remember, he was talking, oh my God, Charlie, he's gone. They just ran here and he showed the black truck. It was like 3 of them in a row. No, he was the first person who announced the untimely death of Charlie Kirk. The one who took the camera down. Who didn't want Erika to see it or some crazy stuff. He was the one who broke it first. Because he was still there while people was running and screaming and stuff.
The guy who took down the camera, the guy who runs the audiovisual company. I'm like, why would he be doing any bookings for Erika? That's very strange. It's actually very interesting why the audiovisual guy would be involved in bookings at all. Remember, we explored this question of when did Erika and Terrell get so close? When did they get to know each other? If you watched our series, Bride of Charlie, you know that the Farnsworth family clan, it's a bit like a little deep Mormon mafia, you know, grew up with Tyler Boyer's family, Chandler, Arizona. They all went to high school together, thick as thieves, so to speak. And Eddie Farnsworth and his brother were one of the ones who brought Lori Franz-Fay into those government contracts in Arizona. This is before Erika met Charlie. This means Erika and the Farnsworth family, Tyler Boyer, their relationships predate Erika's relationship with Charlie. That is a fact. That is literally recorded if you look into the Arizona congressional files. You can see Lori presenting on the House floor with her second husband, Larry Ginta, actually third husband, Larry Ginta, and Erika's stepfather. This is just a fact. So something that's interesting is, in case you don't know this, Turning Point's campus has 6 buildings in total. We're not giving you anything that's not available through a quick Google search. It's on Google Maps. And Charlie's building, the one that his podcast functions out of, and has his podcasting team, Colvette's team, and it used to have Terrell Farnsworth's team upstairs. But in mid-July, so shortly before Charlie's assassination, he had Terrell's team kicked out of the office of his building. Why? I'm not sure. I don't know if it was because they were angry. I don't know what was going through Charlie's head. But he had been there for a while, and then he had them moved. On July 24th, Terrell's team, at Charlie's request, was removed from the building. Now, I'm entering in that data point in case it's relevant down the line. What we know is that, oddly, he was immediately welcomed back into the building following Charlie's death. We know this because Terrell is the one that is standing behind Erika during her first Zoom call to the team. The 6 days after Charlie was assassinated, she's not in bed crying. She is at the office in the Charlie Kirk building, and it is Terrell that is standing behind her. Here's a still photo from that moment just to remind you. You can see that person in the corner. That's Terrell. That's the camera guy. The family's back together. Terrell Farnsworth, in my view, was not just suddenly shadowing Charlie on these little college campus events because they were trying something new, as he said. In my opinion, his new presence always has disturbed me. His reaction to Charlie dying, obviously disturbing. His excuses thereafter for why he rushed to take specifically the SD card out from the camera behind Charlie's head, always disturbed me, right? I've never, ever thought he was telling the truth. I spoke to Erika. I didn't want her to relive Charlie dying. That's what he said. Then we find out that there was nothing gory on that particular film because the bullet didn't go through. So that's actually what they were hiding, in my opinion. The entire thing, his presence feels off, okay? Just feels off to me. And when we look into the team that Terrell brought that day, I just don't like it. I don't like that we were recently able to identify, as we did, Philip Goldsberry. I've also, by the way, identified who one of the ops were.
Whoever invented this deserves a raise. I can't believe it's already 2025 and people are still using this old, disgusting.
237 people in. I only have 27 likes, 34 minutes in. Can I get y'all to double tap the face of your phone or hit those 3 dots at the top right corner for me, please? I don't want to keep stopping, but I need for y'all to hit the like button.
From back home. Remember, I told you there are apparently some ops who were watching the live stream. I've been able to verify one name, okay? And I'm going to pull up this graphic and tell you about this Visual Impulse team, okay? So we know Terrell, he's there at the top. Brian Farnsworth is his brother. Philip Goldsberry Jr., we told you about him. His father is the pastor who, of course, started a charity, Global Ministries in Romania, because why wouldn't he? Everybody's doing that. Everybody's helping the orphans in Romania. That's what everybody does here. This person, Parker Edwards, who we don't have a photo that we thought was appropriate to show because it showed his entire family. But Parker Edwards, we just dug into this guy. And it turns out that he went to the same high school as Terrell Farnsworth. This is like, they all know each other. They all graduated from the same high school. Their families are families. They have been friends for years. He effectively grew up with the Farnsworth clan. And so that's interesting that he's there on the ground that day. Also, his brother, Aaron Edwards, worked for Visual Impulse as well, went to the same high school, also went to Arizona State University. They all know each other. And the Farnsworth is a very powerful family, powerful Mormon family. And then there's this guy, Robert Golo, who I would like to know more about. Okay? He was brought on, I am told, of course, after I stopped touring with Charlie, and they started doing the redundancy of the microphone in 2024. He's actually from Liberia and then moved to Arizona, has been working in, obviously in audio and visual. He's been the guy behind the camera. He's the guy standing next to Terrell when Charlie gets hit, which I will now be saying. I'm not going to say shot because that doesn't feel right to me. But he's the one that's next to him, and then he runs off, and he was a new hire, so to speak, within the year before Charlie died. And so I would just like to know more about him because we do have a lot of fans in Africa. Maybe people know more. He's never spoken out about what he saw. He kind of went away. I think he is still working in some capacity with Turning Point USA. But if you know anything about Robert Golo and his involvement, we would love to hear from you. More tips at CandaceOwens.com. Every detail matters. Now, we told you guys that the mic explosion theory, in our view, has infinitely more evidence. It offers infinitely more sensible explanations for all the odd things that took place that day. We put together that list for you, from them not bringing the bomb dogs over to that area, quickly paving over the crime scene, the shattered, what looks like ABS glass that's in the back of or plastic that's in the back of the car. We also forgot to include something else that we can now add to our growing list of things that suddenly make sense when we consider that it was a shaped charge with a patent explosive packed into it, right? Shaped charge. I think the best way to think of it, if you can't comprehend, now, we told you guys that the mic explosion theory, in our view, has infinitely more evidence. It offers infinitely more sensible explanations for all the odd things that took place that day. We put together that list for you, from them not bringing the bomb dogs over to that area, quickly paving over the crime scene, the shattered, what looks like ABS glass that's in the back of or plastic that's in the back of the car. We also forgot to include something else that we can now add to our growing list of things that suddenly make sense when we consider that it was a shaped charge with a patent explosive packed into it, right? Shaped charge. I think the best way to think of it, if you can't comprehend it, is almost like a firework. Like you can direct it up and it explodes, but you can't perfectly direct it and say hit right here. Anyway, one of the other bizarre things that took place is that the people who immediately testified after Charlie got hit said that they saw Charlie get shot in the chest. It was one of the things that we actually covered almost immediately after the shooting on this show, was that many of the people who spoke to the news were all bizarrely somehow politically connected. So we started profiling these people, and we found out this person, Tiffany Barker, I think was one of the names. Actually, she was working on Phil Lyman's campaign. Phil Lyman was out there testifying. Everything just felt weird and organized, and so we covered it. And we forgot that many people were saying that Charlie got hit in the chest. It was almost like they didn't look. It was very obvious where he got hit, anybody who looked at him. So why did they suddenly run to cameras and say that they saw Charlie get hit in the chest? Right? Never an answer for that. I want you guys to take a listen to these people who tried to convincingly sell that he got hit in the chest.
I heard a loud bang, which I figured a shot would be a little bit louder, but I just saw it hit him in the chest, and then all of a sudden just tons of blood gushing right out where his heart is, and then he fell over and slumped down, and everybody got down and was screaming, and then we all ran.
It was a direct shot to the heart. It looked like right where his heart is, it started going red. He fell back and went to his side, and then I looked down at the crowd, and it looked like the crowd all went to their knees really fast.
When I heard the first gunshot go off, all of a sudden I just saw an eruption of blood, come out of Charlie's chest, and then kind of his whole body recoil and go limp, and basically everybody just screamed and fell to the floor.
Ladies and gentlemen, they are not
Wait a minute.
that many people were saying that Charlie got hit in the chest. It's almost like they didn't look. It's very obvious where he got hit, anybody who looked at him. So why did they suddenly run to cameras and say that they saw Charlie get hit in the chest? Right? Never an answer for that.
I
want you guys
neck.
to take a listen to these people who tried to convincingly sell that he got hit in the chest.
I heard a loud bang, which I figured a shot would be a little bit louder, but I just saw it hit him in the chest, and then all of a sudden just tons of blood gushing right out where his heart is, and then he like fell over and slumped down, and everybody got down and was screaming, and then we all ran.
It was a direct shot to the heart. It looked like right where his heart is, it started going red. He fell back and went to his side, and then I looked down at the crowd, and it looked like the crowd, they all went to their knees really fast.
When I heard the first gunshot go off, all of a sudden I just saw an eruption of blood, come out of Charlie's chest, and then kind of his whole body recoil and go limp, and basically everybody just screamed and fell to the floor.
Ladies and gentlemen, they are not guessing. They are providing a description that never happened. It never happened. There was never a pooling of blood near Charlie's heart. Never happened. It was very obvious if you were anywhere near where Charlie got hit, and actually it came out sideways. The blood came out sideways, and I hate to be graphic and describe that, but it's important to remember that, and we all saw the video, okay? And I told you his shirt was clean. And yet they described that as if it was pre-planned for them to go out there. I'm going to investigate these people who came out here and said this right near his heart. I told you my theory is that the shape charge was intended to hit his chest, but something went wrong, because a shape charge, like I said, can be directed, but it is not an exact science. I do not think they ever intended for the shot to be public. I don't think they ever intended for it to hit his neck. I think his mic, the second redundant mic, was rigged, and it was meant to hit his chest. He was wearing a white shirt. Those descriptions were meant to make sense because they are the instant ones.
But it didn't go. Right. It didn't go that way.
A pooling of blood around his heart. You never saw that, sir. How did you get on NBC News? I'm going to find out. I'm going to find out who these people are.
The secret is to thin out, not shade.
Yeah, it was supposed to go that way.
Ventilate and reduces shade.
Wow. It was supposed to hit his heart. But I don't want to say ricocheted and went another way and came out his neck. Wow. Because of that chain, probably. Interesting.
Because that is way too specific. They are providing false witness intentionally. And then I think they had to pivot. Because actually, the shaped charge accidentally, as opposed to hitting his chest and causing that 30-06 diameter, as would happen with a patent explosive, as we've demonstrated to you in the past, it accidentally, because of how Charlie was crouched, went up and hit his neck.
Right.
And that ruined everything. That ruined everything. It was problematic. It's the reason why Terrell then had to scramble to get the cameras down, because they were never supposed to see it. They could have said reasonably that a 30-06 got eaten by Charlie, much more reasonably, obviously, than saying that the chicken bones in his neck stopped it because he ate vegetables. They panicked. That's why Terrell was nervous on the phone with me.
Goodness.
Again, this is my theory, and I am now very much sticking to it. Okay? They panicked. It's the reason Erika had to step out. That's why she would have gotten on the phone with Terrell so quickly, because I was going, why is Terrell saying, well, I didn't want Erika to relive, oh, that's why I did it. He didn't have an answer. He was nervous. It was crazy. But he acknowledged it. He spoke to Erika immediately. Why did you speak to Erika immediately? Why would you bother a quote-unquote grieving widow with the nonsense of a camera behind his head that shows nothing? Why did you jump specifically to grab that camera's SD card and then lie and say, Andrew Kovac, people were stealing stuff? Buddy, we have eyes. We saw you take specifically the SD card and you left the camera. Which is more expensive? They panicked. I believe this. They panicked big time because the plan did not go as expected. In my opinion, I have not seen any convincing evidence to the contrary. And now that I comprehend how a shape charge works, and I am now receiving emails from people telling me that at Fort Huachuca, they could have put together this rigged mic. I'm trying to comprehend what they said. They said they have a department that works in signals, and I am communicating with people who know more about that. But if I find out they assemble things like this at Fort Huachuca, things are going to get a lot more interesting. Anyway, back to the grieving widow. Now, her story has adapted a lot. She lies. Erika lies. Erika is a liar. She lied to my face. I get the right to say that. She lied to me. She lied to you. She lied to everybody when she said Andrew went rogue. Good on you, Andrew. What a gentleman to take that heat, having people calling you stupid, and just pretending you went rogue when in reality you were colluding with Erika to present this Superman of Steel lie because Charlie ate veggies. Some credit, a little bit due to you. But because I think of our public pressure following the release of the doctored footage of Charlie Kirk appointing her to the position of CEO, her story that she sat down, planned, and told Megyn Kelly, you could see, as we showed you in that absurd Daily Mail article, that the story was beginning to shift, right? Suddenly, it was the footage never really mattered. Everyone knew that was Charlie's plan for her to assume the position, even though he never put it in his will. We all knew that that was the master plan. Well, Erika's no longer speaking about the Aspen event. I think they'd like very much to move on from the Aspen event because liars lie all the time. And she's now talking about the plan. There was always this plan that nobody was privy to. If you were listening to Charlie's lips and the words coming out of them, it was very clear that women should not become the CEO of any company under any situations, even if their husbands are alive. But apparently there was privately a discussion where he said, but if I get killed, I want you to do it. And she recently went to Illinois to lie through her teeth. I'm going to prove to you she lied through her teeth. She was like some educated
red-handed again.
And here's what she had to say. The newer story now about
evidence
her stepping into
the real
the
pure
80-hour-a-week position formerly occupied by her husband of the CEO and chairman, as the CEO and chairman of a $250 million organization. She's going to ramble a bit, as people tend to do when they're spinning tales. She's also going to give an evil look for no reason. Take a listen.
I am so grateful that Charlie had me involved in literally as much as possible with Turning Point USA, TPUSA Faith, other programs within the Turning Point USA umbrella. So much so to the point when everything happened, there was a 0% learning curve here. So I didn't walk into the office for the first time being like, wow, what is this place? There's 6 buildings. But before all of this, I used to take the kids to the office pretty much daily. Sometimes because like Gigi would have dance class and stuff like that every other day, whatever, but I would bring them in because I wanted them to see Daddy doing his radio show. I wanted them to be able to see running around the offices having fun and making friends with some of the employees because they would give them gifts. Like it was a family, and it still is a family, and that's the way that the organization has always operated. And so when it came to the moments after everything happened, I didn't look at the room and say, Huds, who are you? I didn't. I knew all of them by name. I know a vast majority of our staff by name. I know their families. I know their backgrounds. I know what programs they're working on.
What if you could make a song using only your voice? Let's start with the drums.
Is that believable to you?
And we actually cut out the part, but I wanted to also show of her saying that her and Charlie had these conversations. I don't know if you can pull it. I'd like the longer clip of her talking about how her and Charlie worked together, and they had the private conversations where she does that like evil look to the side. So try to find that while I'm speaking about even what she's saying, because this part is important too. So 2 things I'd like to say is, the first thing is that obviously she's lying through her teeth. Just from a common sense perspective, she's lying through her teeth because, and we didn't show you this part, but we will. She's going to talk about how her and Charlie always spoke about it. She talks about the plan. She says there's no daylight between us, okay? And like I said, we'll show you this clip. You had private discussions. There was no daylight between you. He was telling you everything that was happening every single day, and you knew how every department was operating as an quote-unquote emergency plan. She's lying. Okay, I said, she's lying so badly, it should frustrate you that she's even attempting it because it's almost an historically asinine lie. I actually turned to my producer and I said, she has to actually be the first woman in the entire world, in the history of the world, since Sumerian civilization, that has taken over her husband's corporate position as CEO and chairman after he died. I said, I would actually just bet that off the top because that's common sense. This doesn't happen ever, like literally ever. So we asked ChatGPT, where are the women that do this? This is so normal and we're all crazy for realizing that this is not normal at all. And here is what ChatGPT came up with, okay? First, they give us Ellen Gordon, okay? Oh, okay, so great. She took over Tootsie Roll Industries after her husband, Melvin Gordon, died. But actually, no, not mentioned is the fact that it was her family's company. They had a controlling interest in the company, and then her husband was brought in. She was already working there for years while he was alive, first as the vice president of product development. Then she went on to become the senior vice president. Then finally, she became the president and the chief operating officer of the company, again, that her family owned the controlling interest in a position that she maintained until she died. So she just wore one more hat, effectively, after he died, and it was her family's company. The second example they gave us was Catherine Meyer Graham. I said, okay, maybe there is one. Well, actually, the second one they gave us is Erika Kirk, which is hilarious. The third example they gave us, they just threw in a contrast, so it's not an example. It says, actually, GM did not appoint a spouse after a CEO's death. This is common in large corporations. By contrast, spouse succession is more common in founder-led or family-controlled organizations. And they gave us Catherine Graham, okay? Catherine Meyer Graham, sure enough, she did take over for her husband, Philip Graham, as the publisher of the Washington Post after he died. But again, it doesn't count because actually it was her family's company. Her father had purchased the Washington Post out of bankruptcy. He was the head of the Federal Reserve. And then he said, hi, you're my daughter's husband. You should run the company. And then when he died, she took over her family's company as the publisher. Eugene Meyer was her father, like I said, who purchased Washington Post right out of bankruptcy. So no. And by the way, I should say she had a background herself in publishing and in writing and went to school for writing and worked at magazines. We could not, and I kept looking, strenuously. We could not find a single example in human history where someone's wife just assumed their corporate role as CEO and chairman of their company following a death. Not even an assassination, just a death. Generally speaking, we challenge you to go out there and find the woman who did this, especially as a stay-at-home wife who knows nothing about the company. Erika is just pretending that she's involved, okay? Miriam Adelson could have been the closest example. She came up on a list because she took over Sheldon's casino gambling business, it said, when he died in 2021, but that also was not accurate because it was actually them together that had a controlling interest. It's a publicly traded company, and she simply inherited his shares, right? In his will, I should mention, as the proper beneficiary of his shares, his wife, who he was together with for decades. And no, she's not the CEO. She never was the CEO, and I don't think Miriam Adelson wants to be the CEO. And I should say that this is exclusively now a human history feat that has been accomplished by Erika Kirk alone, who happens to be, by far, when you weigh her against all of the women that I just named, the dumbest and least accomplished person out of all of them. Okay, Erika can't get through a speech that's pre-written without a blunder, without saying something ridiculous. Everything she says is managed. She has no background in anything. No, she was not at the office every day. She's a liar. She lies about everything. I was genuinely shocked to hear those words come out of her mouth because I speak to everybody. I have people inside, people who have been fired at the company, and one of the things they kept complaining about was that Erika doesn't know anybody. She doesn't know anything. She doesn't even know their names. And that was becoming a sticking point for a lot of these people. You remember even when Aubrey got fired, she had said to Andrew Cole that nobody knows who she is. You want my honest opinion about her? People do talk about her because we don't know who she is. Past and current employees were positively astonished by the lie that Erika is saying that she already knew everybody. And You don't
It's
have to take it from
habitual
past
lying.
employees or future employees or current employees because Erika herself admitted this. She forgot. She has bad memory. That's why you shouldn't lie unless you have a great memory. You shouldn't lie at all. But if you're going to lie, you should have a really good memory. She herself admitted after the Super Bowl, she jumped on the call to thank everybody and to say that she was looking forward to learning their names because now the kids are at the office and the kids come home with stories and the kids now know the names of the employees. And she said she was looking forward to spending time and learning the names of all the employees. Take a listen.
I'm going to be doing something kind of like a lunch with your
Do you have a longer
department
clip I sent you?
style thing, because it is on my heart so badly. I would love to sit down with each and every one of you individually. I want to know your name, your face, like be able to pray for you guys and really just know you. And so since I can't do individually just yet, because that would be a long day and time and month and year to do that, I'm going to be conjoining it through departments so we can make them very small and intimate, maybe 3 people at a time, and have lunch with you guys just to hear your heart and hear your stories about Charlie. To be honest with you, that would be amazing, and your memories with him.
This fan has been running for 3 weeks straight. My bedroom is still 91 degrees at night, and my power bill is $340 a month. Now watch this. You plug this in, you press one button, give it 90 seconds. Come back and feel that. The room just dropped 30 degrees. No installation, no technician, no power bill that makes you sick when it arrives in August. Hey, I'm Thomas Berger. I spent 15 years
Like
designing air
that.
conditioning systems for some of the biggest...
Hey, Kiwan. Hey, Jay.
Erika just said she didn't know the employees.
Hey, Room Shaker.
It would take her months. She literally says, I want to know your names. I want to know what you're working on.
What is Candy
She's
Girl
on that
Club?
stage saying the exact opposite. She's a liar. She lies all the time, and we just have to just take it. We just have to take it.
She's acting.
She just gaslights, and they keep going. And anyways, he's queued it up now to the point that I was talking about earlier, where she even suggests that this was like some conversation Charlie and her were having privately, and he just could not memorialize this in a will. He was so brilliant, but this one thing he never memorialized in a will, and you would think he would, given it went against everything he ever stated publicly about women in the workforce, but here it is.
We just like anyone else. I mean, we had a emergency plan, which obviously we never thought would have to be executed on, but it's one of those things where we obviously have had the conversation of, God forbid, if something happens to you or myself, what's the plan? We were not foreign to death threats, or I personally got rape threats. We have kidnapping threats. Like, it's not something that's foreign to us. So it was a conversation that needed to be had. And of course it's uncomfortable, but life is life. Life is short. It's good to know that you have a plan. So all along,
She's lying. She just lies.
Charlie and I, we confided in the team. It wasn't an unknown thing. God forbid if something happened, this is the route we're going to take. I am so grateful that Charlie had me involved in literally as much as possible with Turning Point USA, Teep USA Faith, other programs within the Turning Point USA umbrella. So much so to the point when everything happened.
Okay, now we can come out of it. It's, again, she never even thinks through common sense, okay? So for everyone who is married out there, okay, what she's saying about if something ever happens to us or one of us, that's a conversation people have. That's actually the reason they establish wills. It's the very reason they establish wills. In no relationship ever, go play this game, go out. Does anybody say, I want to make sure you step into my role at work? Nor do people generally know every bit of what their husband or wife is working on at work. Okay? My husband and I run a business together. I can't tell you what his day-to-day looks like. If your husband goes to work, I was just saying this guy, I'm like, could you imagine if your wife was just like, oh, I knew exactly, I can just do the job. I can be an executive producer. He told me everything. I knew the ins and the outs. That's actually not normal. That's not normal. And she's lying. She was not at that office every day. She did not know their names. And she admitted herself in the audio that I just played to you that she did not know their names and she needed to spend time getting to know everybody's faces, their names, and what they were working on. So why does she lie so easily? Again, this is her news story now. Forget Aspen. They want everybody to forget Aspen and the doctored footage. They want to move on from that. And now it's, well, the whole team knew this plan. This was the plan. We just didn't put, Charlie didn't put it on paper. But it was the plan for me to become the first woman in human history, forget breaking the glass, shattering the glass ceiling, ever in the history of the world, to take over her husband's role as CEO and chairman, having had nothing to do with the company except for helping out with Faith, TPUSA Faith, bringing on the crappy pastors who lie about everything. That's Erika's accomplishment. The relationships with people like Victor Marks and Rob McCoy. Even in her little minute contribution, she failed. She failed. Everything that she brought forth to Turning Point USA that she was attached to, and in Charlie's final presentation, which runs 2.5 hours long, he doesn't say Erika is involved in everything because she's lying. He says one sentence, Erika helps out with Faith. That's it, because that's all she did. How does she do it? How does she do it? Outside of being a psychopath, there's no other way that she can do it. No other woman has tried to pull this off in human history. That's all I'm saying. We'll be right back after a quick break. All right, you guys, right now, there's a new generation of mothers and fathers that are rising up, parents who want to be there for Candace.
Must sign up via kickoff.com/Candace to activate offer. Offer applies to new kickoff customers first.
Reach at them.
May vary.
All right, let's check in on some of Erika's pastors. Her contribution to Turning Point USA. You guys are in luck, actually, because today we have another installment of our Smash series.
She had a trafficking.
Whose pastor is this?
Minors.
Where we show you clips of a Sunday sermon and try to figure out who in America is actually spending their Sunday listening to this individual on stage preach at them. And today's is extra special because it's Rob McCoy. Pastor Rob McCoy,
wow.
Mikey McCoy's daddy.
Yeah, it was
brought down the house this Sunday. Maybe it was past Sunday. I don't know. At Encounter Church in Vegas, you know, holy city of Vegas.
Oh,
and I want to thank the ex-user Ali Top Files for putting this on my radar. That's how I saw it. Anyway, you imagine you get to church, you're fired up, you're ready to hear the good word. Pastor McCoy, take it away.
Oh, wow.
Candace doesn't have any receipts. And
Church?
It's a carnal Christian soap opera. And you're suckered
At
into
church?
it. She's making $800,000 a week. And you're attacking a widow. Wow. On innuendo, supposition, vain speculation.
Church sermon?
And it's shameful. When you should be caring for a widow. Yes.
It's just amazing. Like, first off,
she's going to go bankrupt. This next one with Charlie's chief of security, Brian, she's done. But here's the thing. We ended the Salem witch trials in 1692 in America. And it was a minister who ended them. His name was Increase Mather. And they had murdered 19 people. And you know why they did it? They had spectral evidence.
Yeah, I got up.
You know what spectral evidence is? I had a dream.
What does this have to do with the Christ?
Sound familiar?
Jesus.
Hello? Some of you don't want to nod because you've been watching that garbage. I had a dream.
A church.
Spectral evidence was outlawed because the scripture said 2 or 3 witnesses. 2 or 3 witnesses.
Where?
not him coming at his congregants. Some of you don't want to nod because you've been watching this garbage. No, they don't want to nod because this is the last time they're going to show up to this church. How? Please walk me through it. How does someone go on Sunday and hear a pastor just speaking about Candace Owens? The lie that he is telling there, $800,000 a week on my show.
Jesus Christ.
You can't just be out there saying stuff like that. Even X had to clock him on the lie. Like, no, he just wildly exaggerated that. It's kind of like his Mikey had blood all over him because they just lie. It's just crazy. $800,000 a week. I told my team, if we were making $800K a week, I'd buy them all Bentleys. I don't even like Bentleys. I think it's kind of an ugly car. Maybe like Range Rovers, it looks better, but Bentley like sounds more expensive or whatever, so I'd get them all Bentleys if that was the case. He's just saying stuff. How do people attend these churches and think that they have anything to do with God?
Right,
It's amazing
right.
to me. He's talking about my lawsuits.
They don't have nothing to do with the gospel of Jesus Christ. Because they are devils. They're devil worshippers, the Zionists.
Who got up that morning and was like, let me get church. I want to feel I want to go into the week with the energy. I want to hear the New Testament. I don't know who walks into that church and leaves feeling spiritually renewed. Who? Send me an email. I need to know who the congregants are who sat there and listened to him riff about Brian Harpole suing Candace Owens and left feeling anything other than like, ugh, I gotta go. I gotta find a new church. Maybe I'm gonna become Catholic. Yeah, I love this, by the way. I wish him every stage. I wish him to lie all across America. I want him to go on tour. I love Erika's very many pastors. I love Victor Marks, who says he's no longer a pastor, but he was kind of a pastor for a little bit, but he's still doing the prayers on Erika and Charlie. I love this guy, Rob McCoy, who just can't tell the truth when he hits the stage and is hoping for people to be bankrupted and is talking about the Salem witch trials. I love it all. I love it all.
Very
Because
jealous.
people wake up to the mega church and these minor pastors grifting Judeo-Christianity. You wake up to what it's actually about, which is just protecting the state of Israel and attacking anybody who calls them out for their various genocides around the world. Anyway,
Right.
speaking of which, I'm shocked he didn't mention Tucker Carlson in his sermon. It's usually a package deal, Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. Especially because Tucker has been trending all weekend for saying the quiet part out loud regarding Charlie Kirk's death. He was on the Can't Be Censored podcast, and here's what he had to say.
Well, you're never going to hear me whine about threats, ever, to me, because I got on this voluntarily. I know I got fired after 15 years, the highest rated show in American cable television, and I got fired for my opinion. So and I'm not whining at all. I'm so grateful that I got fired. I'm just saying, it's not like I didn't know what the price is. I do know what the price is. Charlie Kirk was murdered.
Yeah.
Right.
And he was not murdered for his opinions on transgenderism.
Nope.
Obviously. He was, I believe, and most people who knew him well as I did and was friends with him as I was, believe he was most likely murdered for his evolving views on Israel. So I get it. A lot's
And
at
Trump
stake.
is
The
being
world is
threatened
at
right
stake.
now.
But from my perspective, I have a duty to say what I think is true. I'm often wrong, and I always say that because it's a fact. I have been wrong a lot, and I may be wrong now. But I am sincere. I'm saying what I believe is true, and I'm going to continue doing that no matter what.
How everyone in the entire world feels.
Hey,
They're asking
King of
us to look at
Kampala.
zero plausible
Breakfast.
evidence that points to the fact that Charlie was stressed the night before over transgenderism. This isn't like, Matt Walsh in What is a Woman Crime. Then you'd go, okay, maybe I could see a trans person. Charlie Kirk murdered for his views on transgenderism when the night before he tweeted that he was left no option but to abandon the pro-Israel cause because of how severely they were bullying him, threatening him, using finances.
Them bullies is
The night before, he's talking to rabbis,
some about them
Israeli
MAGA
rabbis,
bullies.
Josh Hammer, all of them saying if they were just helping him fine-tune his debate skills, because Charlie wasn't, doing that for a living and smarter than every single one of these people. No, he needed advice the night before. No, you guys were all on the text chain where he said this. Your conversation clearly was related to the text that he dropped where he said, you've left me no choice but to abandon the pro-Israel cause. That's common sense. And you keep bragging about the fact we were the last one to talk to him. Yeah, that's the problem. He then sends a message and says they're going to kill me, and we're supposed to believe that after hanging up with Josh Hammer and Rabbi and the rabbi on a Zoom call, having told them that he was done being bullied because Zionists fall into all of the stereotypes. We're supposed to believe that night he texted security and said, I'm worried a trans person's going to murder me. No, it defies common sense. We reject it. Okay? It defies everything that happened that day. Defies common sense. Everything you're telling us happened that day defies common sense. Okay? Charlie wasn't hit with a 30-06 bullet in the neck. He wasn't. I'm sorry. Didn't happen. Did not happen.
And he wasn't hit in his chest
happen.
either.
And Erika couldn't scramble fast enough, and Terrell couldn't scramble fast enough, and new witnesses the next day at 4 a.m. in the morning saying he got shot in the neck. Couldn't scramble fast enough. In my opinion, allegedly, nothing adds up. Show us something solid. We don't need influencers who formerly worked for the Department of War,
crisis actors,
coming and making videos and telling us, well, don't believe your own eyes. Nope, we're going to believe our own eyes this time. We're going to believe our own eyes this time, if that's cool. And that ain't a grieving widow. Anyway, Blakey Neff responded. I want you to know why it's important that he responded to the Tucker thing, because he used to work for Tucker Carlson, and I want to say, Tucker, if you're watching, I told you so. Tucker was so nice about Blake Neff. So nice. So nice about Erika, so nice about Blake Neff. Said, I know these people, blah, blah, blah. Of course, Blakey Neff, you could see how quickly he would have stabbed Charlie in the back, as he just stabs Tucker right into the back, and he tweeted this. Actually, those of us who knew Charlie best, a group that doesn't include Tucker, do think that Tyler Robinson did it and was motivated by transgender radicalism. Tucker is lying. No, Blake Neff, you're lying, and some audio is going to show that the majority of people at Turning Point USA don't believe Tyler Robinson did it or acted alone. We'll have that later this week. I know some other podcasters are working on that, namely Baron Coleman, but you're lying. And the fact that you do it to cover up and you stab Tucker in the back, or I guess in the front in this circumstance, lets us know what you would do to Charlie Kirk. You weren't one of his best friends. You're like an annoying person that somehow got onto his podcast. Nobody really knows how, actually. I'd like to know how. Oh, I know. I was helping him with his debate points. Charlie, man. After I left, he must have gotten really bad at debating.
Every week, award-winning chefs make hundreds of globally inspired meals.
You can't trust these folks that act like they're your friends. You better not. That they will work to get you out alive.
Rabbis, pastors, priests, his wife, everybody was helping Charlie Kirk learn how to debate in his 10th year of debating on college campuses. So those kids must have really gotten wise or something. He was terrified. Excited the night before. Thought he was going to die, but also very excited the night before. Woke Gigi up or something. There's a lot going on, a lot of emotions. Terrified, texting security, they're going to kill me.
Scared that she was going to get busted.
But he was talking about trans people, and then he was really excited the next day. None of it makes sense. Anyway, countering Blake, obviously, is the fact that the exact opposite was said while Blake was there on Charlie's show after he died by Andrew Colvett. Take a listen.
Really want people to understand, Tucker, you and Charlie had such a unique and special bond and relationship. It was a deep friendship, and you both had each other's back in an incredible way.
He had my back.
You had his back, too. I know those stories as well.
Yeah, and I promised I wouldn't get into any of that, but I will say, and I'm not going to, but I will say, because I want this to be about Jesus and his love for Jesus and what he did to spread the word of Jesus throughout the world. But I will just say this, that whenever I would come and do a gig for you guys, which was a lot because I really enjoyed it, and he was so kind to invite me and defend my being there, but I would always, he's the only person I did this with, I would always say, hey, let's meet in my hotel room or have a meal. I loved talking to him, and it wasn't just to catch up on everything that's going on in the political world. He would always bring it back to God every single time, and there was no one around. So he didn't need to be oh yeah, I really love God. It was just us, and he'd be talking about that.
And you would come to Phoenix, and you would reach out to, it was I have so many memories of Charlie being I gotta do dinner. Who are you doing dinner with? Oh, Tucker's in town, I gotta meet up.
Hey, NASCAR.
Always.
Blake Neff is a liar.
It's your chat too.
He is a coward. He is a backstabber, and he is made of the stuff that you would expect from a person who would betray Charlie. You proved yourself to be a deceitful traitor by pretending he was not close to Tucker Carlson. Everybody knows that he was close to Tucker Carlson. He confided with him. Just like everybody knows that me and Charlie were friends. You guys are trying to rewrite his history while we watch live.
All these Zionists are trying to rewrite history. Let's be clear, Candace. Now, I know you're saying that.
Hammer, Laura,
I know you know that. All of these Zionists, all of them, pro-Israel, Bibi Netanyahu, Trump, Trump just going along because they got blackmail pictures on him. They saying now, oh Lord, they done moved the goalposts and said that not only was you fucking around with them kids, you was fucking around with your daughter. Yeah, you was playing with your daughter. They say that's what Israel got on you. Look at, Auntie P, why you stop with her lips like that? Take that off her. She does not need to look like Wanda. Oh my God. Oh, girl, I ain't gonna do you like that. I like you, Candace.
Jigsaw.
Okay. Girl, why you keep doing your lips like that? Let me back it up. Let me hear what you're trying to say. But all of them, that took him out, that was a part of it, fake friends, everybody ain't your friend. Everybody ain't your partner. All these niggas ain't your pastor. They are no good. They no good. They no good. Baby, you know good. Ooh, y'all dig that deep voice? You know good. I can't do it now. Yeah, ain't none of them no good. I had to go deep on that. Because Trump is a deep throat. Oh, my God. I wasn't supposed to say that. I was not supposed to say Donald Trump was sucking on Bubbles. Okay. Let me go on. Yeah, but he's a deep throat. He's Donald Trump. Sucking on that pickle. He got all that juice up out there. He made some of y'all women look bad. That's why he do his lips like that. That's why he do his, you know. But carry on. But none of them was his friend. They all betrayed him. And I just read something today. I need to find it. Where the business has been sold or traded or moved to somebody's name that's related to Israel. Yeah.
And I gotta do dinner. Who are you doing dinner with? Oh, Tucker's in town. I gotta meet up with him.
Always.
Blake Neff is a liar. He is a coward. He is a backstabber, and he is made of the stuff that you would expect from a person who would betray Charlie. You proved yourself to be a deceitful traitor by pretending he was not close to Tucker Carlson. Everybody knows that he was close to Tucker Carlson. He confided with him. Just like everybody knows that me and Charlie were friends. You guys are trying to rewrite his history while we watch live, and we're not going to stand it. You're trying to rewrite history and make it so that his close friends were Josh Hammer, Laura Loomer,
just lying.
Jigsaw, okay, Sawface, you're now allowing to kind of edge into and pretend that he was her advisor. He came to me for advice about the woke right. Oh, he was upset about Tucker Carlson and confided into Laura Loomer.
It's time for Operation America 250. Yeah. We're gonna go see young Washington.
Are you guys out of your minds? How do you live with yourselves? How do you do it? I want to understand it. How do you guys wake up in the morning and look yourselves in the mirror, knowing that you didn't just betray Charlie, you betray him every single day, every single moment, and the entire world knows it. Every time Blake Neff opens his mouth, a conspiracy theorist gets his wings. That's a fact. An absolute fact. These people are despicable. Oh, Charlie and Candace didn't speak since 2019. You liars. Sending people out to write hit pieces, trying to just, I can't even imagine having passed away and watching my worst enemies be given my legacy by my own wife. Right. Yielding the stage to Ben Shapiro, like we were going to allow that. We're not.
But she was a Trump. She was a Trump supporter. She was a Trumpy. Before she was his wife, she was a honeypot, whatever they call that mess. Yeah, that was planned and it was plotted. I also read somewhere, I'm going to get my other device today, where they said that the Zionists own those dating websites. And they study the guys or the females, and then they match them up with honeypots on purpose to milk you, to scam you. I'm like, Lord, they are just all over the place. They've been all over the place. We're just now really realizing who they really are and who they work for. They're Satanists. Let's go. I'm going to call them what it is. Zionists are devil worshippers. They get their names wrote in the whatever, the pitchfork pig idol worshiper book of life. They get good deeds when they do evil stuff. That's it.
I'm going to allow it. I said from the very beginning of this entire thing, I want war with all of you, and I'm so glad that I'm getting it. We'll be right back after a break. All right, you guys,
I would never, King Peace, I would never vote for a person who raped minors. I would never, let me repeat. Donald Trump is a child molester, boys and girls. The devilish ways would never get a vote from me. I had no idea how full extent it was. It's bad.
Taxes? Do you have maybe
He got more bodies than the most common serial killer. He got more bodies than them. Would you vote for that? King Peace? Yeah, would you vote for someone who has a lot of child bodies on them? Some of them buried on the golf course. He put his pallywhacker, his pencil stick, in a minor's mouth, moved her head down there, and she bit the shit out of it. Would you vote for that, King Peace? Yeah, I'm checking your integrity since you're going to ask me about mine. Did you vote for the PDFer? Huh? Speak up, King Peace. I get it. I think a lot of people didn't know that at that time. I agree with you. Okay, let's go. We can move forward. Bless you. Bless you. It's pretty bad, and it's a lot of them. It's a lot of them lawmakers. Yeah, Sasha Riley, she not only named Trump, I mean, because he had to stand, he had to put that fork and knife, up on that ass. Yeah, that's why he wore that diaper. But he also named Jim Jordan. Yeah. Andy Diggs. Yeah. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. Just to name a few. Yeah. They're my lawmakers. I hope when time comes, I hope God exposes them all. Yeah, every last one of them. I also saw that Massey is trying to meet up with Sasha Riley. Glory, glory to God. And on that day, we will be singing and clapping. What a mighty God. We expose them all. Giving God all the praise and glory. I can't wait for that day. What a day of rejoicing it will be. When all the lawmakers get exposed, we will sing and shout for victory. Let's go. Let's go.
Filed returns. Maybe you file every year and still can't get ahead because the balance keeps growing.
But see, the problem, King Peace, everybody want to involve Bill Clinton and Hillary. None of them kids, not now one of them kids so far, have said Bill Clinton did anything to him. No minor has said Bill Clinton's name. Now, if they do, I'll be on his ass too. But I can't lump Clinton up in there. Because now one of them, in them Epstein files, did it say Bill Clinton, Bubble, Big Pickle Bubble, raped me. Not one of them. So why do people want to lump other people in it and their name ain't came up in the Epstein files? Yeah, I can't do that. I'm talking about the ones that those kids have said. Now, if he cheated on, I'm going to say this again. If he cheated on his wife, that's between him and his wife. A lot of men cheat on their wife, but I'm talking about the ones who molested minors. Raped it, took it, and people have complained about it. Yeah, that's my concern. I'm not lumping everybody in there. Folk tried to lie and say President Barack Obama was in there, and that's a bald-faced lie. Because if that was ever the case, Trump would have blackmailed him. He been looking for a reason. He was too clean for him. He couldn't blackmail. That's why he hated him. Yeah, because he's better than him. He's cleaner than him. Don't get me started. Let's go.
Maybe you withdrew money from a 401k or an IRA and suddenly got hit with a tax bill that you never It's like everybody knows that me and Charlie were friends. You guys are trying to rewrite his history while we watch live, and we're not going to stand it. You're trying to rewrite history and make it so that his close friends were Josh Hammer, Laura Loomer, Jigsaw, okay, Sawface, you're now allowing to kind of edge into and pretend that he was her advisor. He came to me for advice about the woke right. He was upset about Tucker Carlson and confided into Laura Loomer? Are you guys out of your minds? How do you
They out
live
of
with
their
yourselves?
mind.
How do you do it? I want to understand it. How do you guys wake up in the morning and look yourselves in the mirror, knowing that you didn't just betray Charlie, you betray him every single day, every single moment, and the entire world knows it.
Absolutely.
Every time Blake Neff opens his mouth, a conspiracy theorist gets his wings. That's a fact. An absolute fact. These people are despicable. No, Charlie and Candace didn't speak since 2019. You liars. Sending people out to write hit pieces, trying to just, I can't even imagine having passed away and watching my worst enemies be given my legacy by my own wife. By my own wife.
Right. She was
Yielding
involved
the
in it.
stage to Ben Shapiro, like we were going to allow that. We're not going to allow it. I said from the very beginning of this entire thing, I want war with all of you, and I'm so glad that I'm getting it. We'll be right back after a break. All right, you guys, do you owe back taxes? Do you have maybe years of unfiled returns? Maybe it looks like to me, and through the mechanism of churches and mega government. You know, my sense is just it's global trafficking. I think Charlie was invited to join the global trafficking ring. That's my opinion based on everything.
Say
that I have
what?
seen.
You think he was invited? What? Girl, you better say that. Did he know? Because if that's the case, then he would have known his wife. Y'all, please hit the like button, get the likes up, the 3 dots at the top right. Then that means that he would have known that his wife was involved in it. Oh my God.
All right, you guys, top comment from the last episode is by just focusing on who killed Charlie Kirk, you have discovered there's so much more going on in our corrupt government. You know, my sense is just it's global trafficking. I think Charlie was invited to join the global trafficking ring. That's my opinion.
Oh, wow.
Based on everything that I have seen. That's what it looks like to me. And through the mechanism of churches and mega churches, a lot of that global trafficking has been covered. Think while you still can. Chewing the Void writes, Erika could clear up a lot of the speculation in a single afternoon. She has now spent 9 months proving that she won't. Erika cannot do that because she is not intelligent enough to to be hosted for an interview. That's not scripted. She can't sit there and answer questions. If you think that that girl is capable of what Charlie was capable of, watching his last presentation, just how quickly his mind worked. If you think that that girl can speak to you or answer basic questions about a balance sheet, you're an idiot. She has no idea what's going on. She is what she's always been, a pageant girl. Tell her lines that she has to remember, and she can utter them back to you. And usually, it's not with perfection. Usually, she slips up, even with the lines that have been pre-written for her. And I know for a fact that in past interviews, scripts were handed to her before she went out, at the very beginning of this thing. It's a fact. Not a suspicion, a fact. Mikey McCoy, Stacey Sheridan, they have been the directors helping Erika memorize her lines. That is not a real person. That is not a real grieving widow, and I simply don't care. Anyway, I want to move on also to this. I want to show you guys quickly this email that we got, another email regarding Pettin. We're taking a look at what happens at the Fort Truth base. We need to do a little bit of research, but this person wrote, hey, Candace, I'm not sure if you'll ever even read this because I know you're busy, but I have some information and opinions to give you on the mic. My boyfriend and I both work with explosives. We both are military EOD, explosive ordnance disposal techs, which is more commonly known as military bomb techs. Anyway, as far as the Pettin, we pronounce it Pettin, thank you for telling me, it's the main component in military and commercial blasting caps. Each blasting cap has less than 1 gram of Pettin and deals major damage. We have seen so many videos and know people who are missing fingers or went blind from mishandling these blasting caps. Anyway, I'm not sure about the Tennessee explosion that you were talking about, but I know that it's very easy to either make your own explosives or steal from the military, police, or commercial areas. As far as the shaped charge, it is very common in IEDs, and copper is the most common. But to give you a sense of how easy it is, you can use a wine bottle to make one as well. I know this won't help progress your theories, but me, along with my tech friends, all believe it was the mic. We could definitely be biased since we deal with IEDs, but I just thought that you should know that a lot of people who deal with rifles, explosives, and improvised explosives do not believe it was from a gun. Please reach out if you have any questions. Thank you. Like I said, we've been receiving tons of these emails from people in the military. And the reason why I show you these things, or people that deal with explosives, is because you're going to have to contend with a bunch of morons on the internet telling you that's not possible. And they have no idea what they're talking about. They didn't even watch the episode. They just get their marching orders and try to make it seem as though it's not possible for a shaped charge to come out of something that is the size of the beeper. It's actually what the Israelis specialize in, as I've demonstrated to you guys. And this, to me, is the theory that has the most legs, and we will be continuing to spend time on it because every single piece of the puzzle comes together when you imagine that he was actually taken out by his redundant mic and the characters that were around him sort of boiling the frog and getting him accustomed to having that redundancy, which was not a feature when I toured with Charlie for 5 years. That's all I'll say. Anyway, a couple more comments today. I think we are over time. Scrolling down.
Okay, let me move to the next one.
We have U.S. flagpole guy writes, Brian Harpole brought Charlie's bag to Sean like a cat brings a mouse to its owner. Why was it not in evidence? Great question, which I asked. Why was it not in evidence? But nothing went to evidence. The microphone didn't go into evidence. It went, for a photo op with Erika in front of donors as she raised $40 million at Mar-a-Lago. Everything was just sort of conveniently given back to Turning Point USA. Charlie Kirk's phone should have been kept into evidence. It wasn't. It was given back, as we know, very quickly returned to Erika, and that is why they needed to brand her as a grieving widow so people wouldn't ask these sorts of common sense questions. Why is evidence being handed back to his wife? Right? Doesn't make any sense. Jenna writes, Happy Father's Day to George. I love the stories that you share and the pics of the kids. You two are great parents. We also just really love being parents. If you can't tell, baby number 5, our kids are just the best. I know I'm biased, but somebody actually has to have the best kids, and I think it's us. They're just awesome. They're fun. They're social. They're very funny. They have such a great sense of humor, and they just make it all worth it. Just Happy writes, I knew it. Congratulations, Queen Candace. Christ is King indeed. What a blessing. Yes, it is a blessing, and you guys did know.
Okay, yeah, let me move to today's. Yeah, congratulations, Candace. She is expecting her 5th child. Power to you. Ooh, wee. 5, baby.
All right, you guys, happy, actually, Tuesday. I was going to say Wednesday. It is me, already forgetting things because I am officially the prego, right? No one can question anything I do for the next few months. We all agree. I don't make the rules. I just follow them. Dana Lash makes the rules, actually. Let's bring in Dana Lash.
And the widow.
And the prego.
For the widow.
For the prego.
Or the widow.
Or the prego.
The widow.
The prego.
Honor widows.
Honor pregos. I hope I got that octave just right. I feel like that felt, yes, I like it. I'm free. It feels like a throwback to a WWF intro. Do you smell what the widow is cooking?
Y'all, I'm an hour and 33 minutes in. Can I get y'all to hit the 3 dots at the top right corner? Come on, come on, come on. Let's get it pumping, started. Let's get to the finger tapping. I will wait. Y'all need to come on. Stop playing with me so I will stop playing with you. Auntie Fee, you tit for tat. I am tit for tat sometimes. Y'all hit the like button. Double tap those 3 dots. Hit those 3 dots and get on over there now. Or I will shut it down. I got another live anyway. Set up. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Do I need to go out and come back in and shake these people off? Is that what I need to do? Are we back? Did y'all get the likes up? Because next time I go out, I ain't coming back in. Yeah, good. That's how Trump was on Bubba's mic. And Bubba is Bill Clinton. That's how he was on his mic. Hot mic. Let's go.
Anyway, I am the prego, and if you disagree with me, it's demonic. Duh. I heard it in a Rob McCoy sermon this weekend in Vegas.
Candace.
Anyway, what do we have for you today? I had asked last week, what happened to Charlie Kirk's shirt, the Freedom shirt? The one that he was wearing, the one that TPUSA moved to sell like hotcakes right after he passed. Don't you want to own the shirt that Charlie Kirk was wearing when he died? $59.99, and it could be yours. Well, I just wanted to know what happened to the original one, actually, and the answer is beyond absurd. Speaking of absurd, the judge in the Tyler Robinson case just came back with a decision that is not going to help the conspiracies, that this entire case is going to be rigged. We're going to tell you about that update. And lastly, we were able to vet another tip from someone who knew the old Erika, the one working in New York City in Jeffrey Epstein's modeling orbit. So let's get started. Welcome back to Candace.
Oh, we. Oh, we.
Okay, so the list of things that are suddenly beginning to make a whole lot of sense when you consider the increasingly plausible scenario that it was indeed Charlie's road mic, which was rigged to kill him, is growing. The list is growing. Now, I had asked a question last week, and gratefully someone pointed out to me that Baron Coleman had already furnished the answer to it, as well as other people, a long time ago, actually, in his early days of covering the case. I just wasn't following Baron back then. And also, I maintain that I was in a real state of shock and grief, and I was not processing information as usual. There was so much coming in, so many questions, so many things for me to respond to, recognizing that I was suddenly going to be at war with Turning Point USA on top of my grief. But anyway, last week I had asked that crucial question, what happened to Charlie Kirk's white Freedom shirt, right? We were exploring that shirt in particular because it would definitively have explosive residue on it if the theory holds.
They trashed all that stuff, y'all.
At the very least, put the theory to bed. If our hypothesis is correct, then Charlie's shirt would actually be the biggest piece of evidence available, right? To those seeking to hide the fact that he was hit with an explosive, every place and item upon which the explosive residue may have landed would have to be either cleaned up or destroyed entirely, right? Like the soil. We covered this. Can we test it for explosive residue? Nope, we can't, because we learned that they took care of that soil. 10 inches of soil dug out immediately and repaved by Saturday.
Wow.
Charlie died on a Wednesday, and that soil was gone by Saturday. By Sunday, pavers were installed. Okay, forget that. What about the necklace? That's an obvious place. Well, nope, that was taken care of too, because the feds were looking for it for some unknown reason, as was Frank Turek, and it was then given to the widow, who now wears it around her neck. And who on earth would expect her to hand that over? It keeps her close to her husband.
Well, blood is on it.
Okay, well, let's skip that, right? What about the handheld microphone? That's an obvious one. Surely we kept that one in evidence, right, Cash Patel? Oh, nope, sorry, the widow needed that for the Mar-a-Lago fundraiser. It's encased in some glass, and she is mourning beside it with photographers at her helm. It all seems a bit too convenient. But surely, we think, surely you are thinking, this can't be an inside job. All of that, keeping this, giving this to the widow, all of it could be fine potentially if we had Charlie's clothes. I mean, everybody knows you keep the clothes, right? Where is his shirt? It would hold the most evidence. Surely that made it to the hospital and is in the possession of the police, the feds, right? Right? Wrong. Because here's what happened to his shirt, according to Brian Harpole, who joined Sean Ryan for a car crash of an interview, for which I am being sued over. Here is what happened to Charlie's shirt, in case you missed it or forgot it like I did. Take a listen.
We get to the hospital. Actually, we make it to the hospital through the traffic. We've got full wound pack in. We get out and we carry in to the door. Once we make it into the door, we see a gurney on the left-hand side. We put him on a gurney and then I wheel him into a room. I start giving the patient information to the staff there. I end up getting on top of him and cutting the shirt that he had on off, that white freedom shirt. And so I cut it off so they could get to him, so that I didn't articulate this to them, but I wanted to get that stuff off so they could put a defibrillator on him. And so, and then started talking about pushing drugs. And so I was back and forth with them, get that stuff
So
off.
he waited till he get to the hospital?
Happened to his shirt, according to Brian Harpole, who joined Sean Ryan for a car
He
crash
didn't
interview,
administer
which
CPR?
I'm being sued over. Here is what happened to Charlie's shirt, in case you missed it or forgot it, like I did. Take a listen.
We get to the hospital. Actually, we make it to the hospital through the traffic. We've got full wound pack in. We get out and we carry in to the door. Once we make it into the door, we see a gurney on the
So you
left-hand
got
side.
a wound kit,
put him
but
on
he
a
still
gurney,
have
and
on
then
his
I wheel him
shirt?
into a room.
You have a wound kit, but he still have on his shirt. So you didn't tear open the shirt while y'all was sitting there waiting at the event. That car didn't move for a while. And then you went through traffic and you still ain't ripped his shirt? I mean, so where's the wound pack at? And you waited till you got to the hospital to administer CPR. Wow. And he paid you for this?
We make it to the hospital through the traffic. We've got full wound pack in. We get out and we carry in to the door. Once we make it into the door, we see a gurney on the left-hand side. We put him on a gurney and then I wheel him into a room. I start giving the patient information to the staff there. I end up getting on top of him and cutting the shirt that he had on off, that white freedom shirt. And so I cut it off so they could get to him, so that
He got on top of him while he was in the hospital. So when y'all was driving down the freeway, feet hanging out the window and shit, you know, rolling down the street, you know, sipping on gin and juice, y'all didn't administer any type of aid? Man, this is a bunch of bull crap. What's they say, frackanacka bull?
I didn't articulate this to them, but I wanted to get that stuff off so they could put a defibrillator on him. And so, and then started talking about pushing drugs. And so I was back and forth with them on drugs and defibrillator. And so then, you know, once you get that shirt cut off and moved out of the way, you know, there's enough of medical professionals in there. And so I just want to get out of their way.
So why you didn't let them cut his shirt open?
Got out of their way and walked out of the room and stood outside the room and held guard on the outside door of the room so nobody else could come in there.
I genuinely do not possess in my vocabulary enough adjectives to describe the absurdity of the scene that Brian Harpole just tried to convey to audience. It's difficult. You just have to have, you don't even have to have a shred of common sense. You could have less than a shred of common sense. Ever been to a doctor? Ever been to a hospital? Like, this guy walked in like he was the mayor. He grabs a gurney. He wheels the gurney himself into a room. He then jumps on top of Charlie. Don't know where he got the scissors from. You would think they would have been available to him in the car. He got a pair of scissors.
Mm-hmm.
He's barking orders. He then cuts Charlie's shirt off for them because he's got this all under control. People are just looking around like this guy is amazing. He then starts giving them information, even though you would have thought that happened on the phone. We still can't figure out who in the car called 911, and we can't find that 911 call, but they say someone did call 911. He then starts giving information about Charlie, and then he himself, they're all standing around watching this guy just do his thing. Like, he's just your regular old Superman. Everybody recognizes him from town. And then he steps back and says, okay, now I myself have decided I will back away because there's enough professionals, but I am going to talk you through what meds to give Charlie as well.
How do you know what meds to give him? None of that makes sense.
I'm sorry, who are you? And then he wraps up by saying, and then I decided to walk out of the room and just guard the door. Oh, they just let you do that at hospitals? I didn't know this was an emergency scene. I've never seen this. Not even when they fake killed Jeffrey Epstein did they come up with the story that's ridiculous. They at least showed him as soon as he got to the hospital, like, no, the medical professionals just like took over, obviously, because not even the people that are in the paramedics would be able to do this. You hand it over. You're now in the hospital, coming in through the emergency doors. They have an emergency setup, and not even the paramedics would be allowed to do what Brian Harpole, some random dude who they don't know from a hole in the wall, has just described to Sean Ryan that he did, no questions asked. And he cut his shirt off. That's the most crucial part. He jumped on top of him, he grabbed the gurney, he picked the room. Everyone was standing around going, wow, we'll just wait until he tells us there's enough of us. Because this guy's got it. This guy's really, really got it. Why don't we just let him perform surgery? What are we doing here? He did it because, the defibrillator. Oh, well, you told us now you're worried about Charlie's heartbeat because you told us that you didn't even do CPR. This was an 8-minute car ride. Now you want a defibrillator to bring his heart back online? Do you know how much damage would be? Would he have 4 minutes that you can survive without a heartbeat? And you weren't worried about a heartbeat. Now you're worried about a heartbeat. So much so that you jump onto him and cut off his shirt. Why are you saying this? This did not happen.
How you doing?
This did not
we
happen.
go?
Brian Harpole, you are lying through your teeth.
Absolutely.
Okay, it's no wonder Cash
Can I get
Patel
you to hit the like button
had to
for me?
swoop in there and take the
On
cameras
one
from
we go.
inside of the hospital. We were wondering why. Well, this very clearly explains why, because the story is so fantastical. Now you want a defibrillator to bring his heart back online? Do you know how much damage would be? Would he have 4 minutes that you can survive without a heartbeat? And you weren't worried about a heartbeat. Now you're worried about a heartbeat. So much so that you jump onto him and cut off his shirt. Why are you saying this? This did not happen. This did not happen. Brian Harpole, you are lying through your teeth. Okay, it's no wonder Cash Patel had to swoop in there and take the cameras from inside of the hospital. We were wondering why. Well, this very clearly explains why, because the story is so fantastical. There's no way in hell the FBI could have allowed us to see what went down in that hospital. Frankly, it sounds like a sitcom, okay? Frank Turek, who didn't touch Charlie, according to Brian Harpole, according to Brian, he was just praying in the back seat. But for some reason, Frank notes that when he got to the hospital, he got changed. Mikey McCoy, who was a hero, found them surgical scrubs because there was blood all over him. He somehow got blood all over him, and then they all needed to change their clothes. And when he changed his clothes, he didn't even recognize at that moment that his kids were still on the phone. He's not going to realize that until he gets to the hospital. Nobody really understands how he called Jack Hibbs, but he did. We have a hospital that's allowing Brian Harpole to run the op floor while Pastor Frank Turek is being styled for some unknown reason. All of this definitely happened. But yes, that's really weird. Even like if I take my kid to the emergency room, I feel like I've suddenly given them to the medical industry. You can have a baby in a hospital and they'll fight you over the child that you just carried for 9 months, telling you basically the child is theirs. Here's what the baby needs. But somehow when Brian Harpole came in here, he was just calling shots, and then he did security. He guarded the door.
Welcome to the world's largest invention factory.
Keep getting deeper
In here,
and
we
deeper.
design,
Lie after
test,
lie.
and
Wow. This sounds like a movie.
Mm-hmm.
This sounds like, I don't know, like a Denzel Washington, Johnny Q movie. This does not sound like real life because it's not real life. The reason Brian Harpole is spinning that tale is because he probably did cut off Charlie's shirt at that hospital. When everybody was stripping, he probably did cut off Charlie's shirt. And I'm going to guess that that shirt has been disposed of.
Absolutely.
Because I don't see it in evidence. I don't see it marked as evidence. I haven't seen it in the court case filings that they have this shirt anywhere. That makes the most sense to me under this scenario, is that Brian is spinning a tale trying to make it sound heroic as to why he removed a crucial piece of evidence off of Charlie's body. Again, we're running this scenario that this could be an inside job. That would mean that the feds came in to do a cleanup job of the evidence, which would have included, as we mentioned before, the car. Right? This was the most compelling piece of evidence that we were never supposed to have, right? The car was sent for a tow, a cleanup, an auction, all very expeditiously. They didn't want to keep this for evidence. But of course, John Bray, who immediately identified the mic as the potential source of a shaped charge
Who
explosion,
provided him with that?
was on the pursuit looking for
Who
shattered
provided him with the
ABS
mic?
glass from the Rode Wireless Pro. Unbeknownst to me, I got this evidence, and it's the first thing he saw. I'm very convinced by his arguments, but to play devil's advocate, I had to imagine that it could have been maybe a pair of sunglasses that were accidentally stepped on and then shattered all across the floorboard. I had that scenario at a very low probability, but nonetheless, it's good not to convince yourself of what you're seeing. But I can now state confidently that I believe the bits that were on the floorboard of the SUV are indeed Charlie's shattered Rode mic, because one of you sleuths reached out to us with a rather fine detail. I love you guys. You're always paying attention. I'm just going to read the email. It says, "Hi, Candace and team. This may be nothing, but I believe you guys need to try and enhance the images on the back of the SUV, specifically the black shards, because when I look at the images, unenhanced, there seems to be a number of the shards that have white on them, both on the floor and the crease of the seats. See screenshots of the videos that you shared from the show. If you study the images of the Rode Wireless Go microphone, they have several white details on them. And if you can enhance the SUV images, I'm confident that you will be able to identify parts of the microphone body by the shards. I'd also be interested to see an image from a different angle so that we can see the piece that I have indicated by an arrow on the one image. Again, it could be nothing, but I think you guys will have access to much better enhancement tools as well as all the angles. I just have a feeling that those little shards with the white on them hold the key to whether your suspicion about the exploding mic is plausible. All the best."
We've got great news for seniors. The Social Security Administration has made a small final
Well, what do you know? Here are the images that they attached from our hour earlier show when they were circling what they thought could be some white on them, which would be like the Rode microphone. Of course, it does say Rode on it in white. Do we have that Rode image too of the mic? There you go. So this is what they're looking for. They're going, actually, there's writing on that. So if it was all over him, you're going to get pieces that have white on it. And so we enhance the images. And I am further compelled that this person is correct. I will show you this, particularly because I thought you could say, oh, maybe that's a sun glint here and there. Not on that piece on the right-hand corner. That is white on there, and on some other pieces. We can go closer here so that this person can see it even better. That's white. This is not someone's sunglasses that we are looking at. I can show you another more enhanced photos here, particularly that one in the right corner is just so obviously a piece of a shard of something, and I believe this is Charlie's Rode microphone. This person was on the money. There is white. There's predictable white, of course, on the edges. That sort of happens.
And they
when
tried
you shatter
Tyler
glass in
Robinson
general.
knowing good and damn
But I
well
also wanted to
it
show
wasn't
you
him.
guys these, hyper-focused pieces.
Just like
so
they
that you
did
could see
Carmelo Anthony.
that this person is definitively onto something. Now, I also want to show you, because there's a pocket of the internet for everything, a video of some guy on YouTube who just decided to break his Rode wireless mic for funsie. Nothing to do with the Charlie Kirk case. Not sure the context of this. Assuming this guy is super rich, because this is like $1,500 to purchase these things. But let's take a listen.
I am basically going to destroy my Rode Wireless Pros. I still use these things and love them, but in my review I talked about this candy mirror finish and how nothing sticks to it.
Starts breaking it. You can see that's what it looks like is on the car floorboard.
No kidding. Okay.
That is.
or very carefully getting under here, and I'm splintering glass bits all over the place. So at this point, I'm going to say it's safe to say don't do this at home. Also, it kind of makes sense that this is glass, because if you think about like iPhones, you know, they have that glass backing for antennas and such. So I guess that's where the antenna is on here. I don't know, but I'm guessing that's what's up. At the very least, now we get to see what's underneath a Rode Wireless Pro.
That is what it looks like is on the floorboard of the vehicle that transported Charlie. That is a very solid and plausible theory, which I feel is now strengthened. Of course, beyond that, there is also the curious case of the witness tree. We covered this a little bit yesterday. The people who were first to speak to the media and set the narrative. They're the most crucial people. Some people call these people crisis actors.
Right.
Talking about what happened. So when people are looking for information, they stumble upon these people and they say, hey, Charlie's been hit in the chest, and we can describe to you how he was hit in the chest. That definitely happened. We showed you one student in particular, a young woman named Sarah Toole. But yesterday, the internet quickly discovered that after she gave her first testimony with Fox 13, claiming in detail, along with others, that he was shot in the chest, suddenly 51 minutes later, she went back onto camera with local media and completely changed her story.
Oh, wow. They got
Here's
an
her
update.
first interview to jog your memory.
So basically, I heard a loud bang, which I figured a shot would be a little bit louder, but I just saw it hit him in the chest, and then all of a sudden just tons of blood gushing right out where his heart is, and then he like fell over and slumped down, and everybody got down and was screaming, and then we all ran.
Can you describe just, did he appear to be moving afterward, or what?
Not at all. I personally believe he was dead on impact.
You heard the one shot. Were there multiple shots, or?
Just one shot straight into Charlie Kirk, and that was it. And I think they got him.
And did you see the person who fired the shot or anything like that?
No, I just knew that it came to the right of me and went just directly into his heart. So. I got a picture of it.
What did you see as far as, I mean, was the crowd, how was the crowd reacting to him? I mean, he is somewhat known for being provocative, but what was going on beforehand? What was he talking about?
So the first student got up and they were talking about religion, Mormonism, and Christianity, and the second student to get up was talking about transgenderism and how gun violence has been very frequent with that community, and that is when it happened. Pretty ironic.
Right after, during, right on that topic.
Yeah, it's when he got shot in the heart.
It's 4 people that are in attendance. One of them is her mother. No one is disputing what she said. They were in the 4th row, and she says directly hit his heart, came from her right side. Okay, that's pretty descriptive. That's what she said at 1:17 p.m. But then just 50 minutes later, she gives another interview, and her story has changed. This is given at around 2:08 p.m. Take a listen.
And then after that, they had another student step up to talk about transgenderism and the violence and gun violence that's been surrounding that recently. And that is when Charlie Kirk was shot. It was in the neck, and I watched the blood just spurt out all over his body as he slumped over and fell down.
Girl, go sit down.
I believe that he was dead on impact, but it sounds like he is in critical condition. So big prayers going out to him, hoping that everything is okay.
Go sit down.
That is remarkable. That is remarkable. Directly to his heart, to now on the left side of his neck. But she wasn't done, because then she went big time. She spoke to ABC News, and this time her memory is just getting better and better. She's even able to confirm how many yards away the bullet was fired from, and it incredibly matches the distance to Losi Center. She becomes an expert in sound ballistics. Take a listen.
So I was in the 4th row in the courtyard where Charlie Kirk was. I was a little to his left, and the shooter was to my right. So, and even if you were looking at Charlie Kirk from the front, the shooter was still to the right and just got him right in the neck, blood gushing everywhere. A friend of mine and I ran into the building and ran out the building. It's like the exit pathway, and just kept running, crossing streets, like just trying to get to safety.
And so you think the shooter was to the right of you based on what you heard and what you saw?
Yes, correct. Yeah, it went right into his left side, and the shooter was from my right, and even in the middle, it was still to the right. And I'm pretty sure you had somebody
They
say this
changed her
earlier,
script
but
up,
I think
didn't
it
it?
was about 200 yards away.
It was about 200. How? How did she know that?
Because that's the script she reading from.
How does she now suddenly know that it hit him in the neck versus what she
That's how
graphically
cases
described as
get
it hitting him
screwed up.
directly
Absolutely.
in the heart as she points center?
And then they'll
What
repeat
changed?
what the
In
witness
short,
said, and they done said 3 different things.
none of that makes any sense. It's hard to make sense of it outside of all of these mysterious pieces falling together when we examine the exploding mic theory. Here's our update. It's good to organize this stuff and to take a look at it. Our updated chart of everything magically falling into place when we consider this theory. Bomb dogs being kept away from the scene. Why the crime scene was immediately paved over and the soil was excavated. Why the feds were searching for Charlie Kirk's necklace. It explains why there appears to be shattered black ABS glass all over the SUV. Why there is no available footage or any eyewitness reports of someone seen firing a shot from a Losey building, despite this being an active campus in the middle of the day. Why the feds did not conduct a standard gunshot residue test when Tyler Robinson was brought in. It explains why Terrell Farnsworth violated the crime scene to remove the back footage. It's almost like he got updated. Like, oh crap, it hit his neck. We got to pull that footage because we're going to need to, like, explain that. Why it didn't go, we got a 30-06. It explains why there was unusually no ambulance on standby.
Right.
Paramedics would have likely seen that shattered glass from road mic pieces and other evidence which would not have supported a gunshot to the neck. It explains why Erika was quick to forgive Tyler Robinson. It explains why Brian Harpole cut off Charlie's shirt in a scene described by him which definitively did not happen. And if it did happen, this hospital should be shut down. If that scene did happen, this hospital is insecure and it should be shut down. That is not a safe place to take anybody. If randos can run in and start directing doctors and jump on top of people and cut off their shirts and decide to perform security on rooms, then this hospital, Timpanogos, should be shut down. That's my perspective. Lastly, it explains, as we just showed you, why multiple front row witnesses wrongly claimed that Charlie was shot in the chest before changing their testimony, unusually. Now, if we continue to follow and work upon this hypothesis, then it inevitably suggests what we've all suspected, that Tyler Robinson is indeed a patsy. In order to become a patsy, to be clear, you have to have a really bad friend in your life, right? Someone that is close to you and that is willing to set you up to either gather or plant evidence against you. Someone with access to your gun, access to your clothes, like, I don't know, a roommate who you're maybe dating and becomes the only source of clear evidence, quote unquote, clear evidence against Tyler Robinson in the form of a dramatized text confession, which doesn't pass the sniff test, a handwritten note that was subsequently destroyed, which doesn't pass the sniff test, because why would you handwrite anything if you're going to just text everything out anyway? The person who, curiously, is not held for questioning by the FBI, isn't that kind of mysterious? Yeah, I would imagine if we take our theory to its natural end, Lance Twiggs might be a federal asset, a very protected federal asset.
So many
And things are
dodging
pointing in that
factors,
direction,
right?
because yesterday news came in, rather a verdict came in. Judge Graff, which is difficult to explain, given the extraordinary role that Lance Twiggs played in shaping the narrative against his alleged boyfriend. You might think that the judge in Utah would honor the defense's request to compel Lance to show up to the preliminary hearing, which is set for the week of July 6th. Like, you're the basis of this entire case against our client. If you assume that, though, that he would say, yes, you have to come because the defense wanted to subpoena him, you would be wrong because the judge has just denied that request, okay? So just to remind you, the prosecutors in this probable cause hearing plan to represent Erika. She is the listed victim on this case, and they plan to present, at that time, a recorded statement from Lance Twiggs at the preliminary hearing. So essentially, Lance Twiggs is allowed to testify against Tyler Robinson in the form of a recorded statement. Robinson's team therefore argued that they should be allowed to have the opportunity to cross-examine him. Otherwise, this is hearsay. They're just allowed to say, hey, I got a recording of a guy who says you did it. Okay, but I say I didn't do it. Well, it doesn't matter because I have this recording. Twiggs now lives out of state, but the judge has ruled that the purpose of this hearing is not going to be to decide upon Robinson's guilt, but rather to determine if there's enough evidence to move the case forward. So they've said, it's allowed. I allow it. It's a hearing that is allowed to move forward, built on hearsay. This is what we mean when we say that this case is going to be a show trial. That's a show trial. If you can just bring evidence into the courtroom and that evidence does not need to be vetted, then the judge is saying that's perfectly fine at this stage, that's a show trial. Could you just put yourself in that circumstance, okay? Lance says it happened, and you have no right to examine the evidence of what he's presenting, right? They have not been given access to Tyler Robinson's text messages to make sure they're real, or that they were indeed sent from their client's phone that was in Tyler Robinson's confession. Nope, they said no. We're just bringing the printouts. These are the messages. Trust me, bro. They are not allowed to question the person who says that he found the notes. They're just going to play a recording of him saying that they found it. Imagine that scenario in your own life. You get hauled in, arrested for murder, and someone says, yeah, well, this person says that you did it, and we have a recording of them saying you did. And they're like, that's enough. Judge Graff says that's enough. We don't have to produce anything else for this preliminary hearing. You got to rot in prison until the real trial happens. That is why people believe the fix is in, and I am among the people in that perspective. Like I said, the hearing is going to be scheduled for the week of July 6th. I will be away on vacation, but maybe I'll have to set something up with you guys to watch it live and respond to it, because this is so far beyond anything that we could have imagined. We're just living through JFK all over again. We will be back after a brief break with another person, by the way, who has come forward to declare that they remember Erika Franzwey from her New York City days. And our earlier reports about her are indeed true.
Oh, wow.
All right, you guys, the media does not even need to lie anymore. They just sort of do what we expect.
Y'all please hit the like buttons. I'm 2 hours and 8 minutes in.
Mrs. Ruth Norman.
I'm going to shut it down.
Moving on to Erika Franzwey. Erika Franzwey, totally different person than Erika Kirk. We're going to talk more about that. So we had spoken to you guys about next model management a few times, right? And we've now received another testimony about that. Now, if you watched our Bride of Charlie series, you know that we had received a well-vetted tip that Erika was in charge of quote-unquote modeling apartments for a bunch of underage Eastern European girls who were being brought to and shuffled through Next Model Management, which was owned and operated by a woman named Faith Cates, right? This modeling agency was born out of the Rothschild dynasty. We unpacked it on an episode. And this was a shocking discovery because Faith Cates was unbelievably close to Jeffrey Epstein. You can read Faith Cates' emails all throughout Jeffrey Epstein's emails, which have been released. Jeffrey Epstein himself, we learned, hung out at the office regularly when he was in town. And what was described to us was that suits would come through, models, these young Eastern European girls were being brought over from this country, hanging all around the office, and the suits, so to speak, would kind of decide what girls they wanted to hang out with, in a way. And the tip at that time came in and said that Erika, in particular, was in charge of a white apartment building on the Upper East Side where they sort of housed all of these models. Now, we had wondered, we were not able to confirm, if that white Upper East Side in the 60s of the Upper East Side may have been the one that was owned by Mark Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein's brother. We still have not confirmed that. But we did go out, obviously, because that's a very big story, that Erika would be at this office, that she was there with upper executives. And to the extent of managing these apartments. We went out to Turning Point USA to seek comment regarding this, and we never received a response, which is very odd to me because Erika is quick to respond to Project Constitution if he says that she's dating someone. They love it, right? Suddenly, she's drafting responses about, which is probably written by Andrew Colbert, about him having Dorito dust on him, calling him fat and lazy, effectively implying that he's fat and lazy. I feel like if you're going to reply to something, someone saying that you were in Jeffrey Epstein's orbit is pretty critical. It's a pretty critical thing to respond to and shut down immediately. There is no person in the entire world that wants to be even slightly adjacent to Jeffrey Epstein, especially given Erika's background with the Romanian Angels and all of the innuendo that's out there about her already. Now, we received another update. Another person has come forward and confirmed this information, that Erika Kirk was working as the contact for the model apartments on the Upper East Side. This person is insistent. She said she herself met with Erika Kirk, okay? This is exceedingly problematic. This is exceedingly problematic if underage girls were brought in to, under the guise of being models, and it's not like you're allowed to be an underage model. It's not like you have to be 21 to model. It's quite the opposite. But then were kept in apartments which may or may not have been owned by Jeffrey Epstein. Certainly, they were being shuffled through a modeling agency of which Jeffrey Epstein was very much involved in. We know this. This was his thing of how he trafficked a lot of women from the Eastern Europe through modeling agencies like the one with Jean-Luc Brunel in France, and his ties to Faith Cates, who stood by his side even when he was found guilty of harming children. Faith Cates was his loyal defender, and it ended up costing her her entire reputation, her career, really. If you look her up, you can't really get over that. Marred her entire reputation. And now we are learning that Erika, we were always wondering, why did Erika have this license, this real estate license? And it is plausible that it was just to sort of give her a shield for stuff that she was involved in that is very questionable. It's very questionable. We couldn't find some long history of Erika Kirk as a real estate agent, but she got her license in New York to do what? Erika at this time claimed she was a jack of all trades, right? She was a casting director in New York City, a real estate agent in New York City, a pageant model, a casting director in New York City, a woman running a charity for Romanian Angels alongside the United States Marine Corps while she was in New York City. She was also a clothing designer, started her own clothing line while she was in New York City. She was also a reality TV star while she was in New York City. None of these careers are lucrative. None of them are consistent. There is no such thing as a jack of all trades. There is such a thing as a liar. Okay? So I will put an APB out. If you are able, perhaps you used to model, perhaps you yourself were a young girl, Eastern European, who came to America and dealt with Kate's Next Model Management, and you remember Erika Kirk being one of the individuals who managed the apartments. And I want to be clear, I did speak to one model, but I didn't find her memory to be convincing enough. When she talked about how these girls that managed the modeling apartments, that she did herself live in, but I didn't feel confident that the girl that she dealt with was Erika, but she said in their capacity, they also got these underage girls into clubs at night, getting them in with fake IDs. This is what she described to me in like a 1-hour conversation, giving them drugs while they were, partying, underaged. But again, I did not feel like her memory that it was Erika was correct. But she said, I lived in this building. I can't remember the faces and names. I once got robbed, and she told me this whole story. If you have any information specifically about Erika Francefay and Next Model Management, Erika Francefay managing apartments on the Upper East Side, a white building, we would like to hear from you. You can email us at moretips@CandaceOwens.com. You can also email us at tips@CandaceOwens.com. I feel very much there is something here.
Okay, so y'all, on this live, y'all did not get the likes up. I'm going to go ahead and shut down. And for my tea sippers, I'll pick up for you. If I see y'all in here, I'll pick up right here. But the likes didn't get up. So I'm going to end this one. and go on over to Carmelo Anthony. Okay, yeah, my likes is not up, and I've been here for 2 hours and 15 minutes. So I'm going to do y'all a favor and shut it on down so I won't have to start getting loud. I'll be back though.